We're talking with Erick Wright, a person running for Congress in the 2nd Congressional District here in Alabama. Erick, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're looking at some possibilities here of letting people know exactly what you believe in.
I am from a small town called Demopolis, Alabama. I have 4 brothers, and I have a great group of sons that keep me absolutely busy.
One of the biggest problems facing our nation today is national debt. What's your opinion on this, and what should we do?
Well, that's actually a very important question, and a lot of people have different ideas about the debt. But we do need to reduce the debt, and we need to do it smartly. And there are simple ways that we can get this done. One would be reducing some spending on some programs that's not effective. Where we do spend money at, we need to monitor that and watch what we're doing and see where we can cut back at. And we also need to strengthen Social Security for seniors to make sure it'll be around. And if we make sure that that's stable, then that can also cause the debt to slim down a bit, as well as removing some of the tax loopholes for oil companies and too big to fail banks. And if those funds were paid to the national government, then we would actually reduce the debt tremendously.
When you look at the debt and you look at Social Security, a lot of emphasis has been put on Social Security. In your opinion, do we have to cut Social Security, or can we make it work?
We can make it work. We can actually strengthen it to make it better. I do not believe in making Social Security and Medicare voucher program. I believe my opponent voted for the Paul Ryan budget that would have done just that. And unfortunately, the people of Alabama would not accept this, and I don't think it's right.
What would be your main legislative priorities in the U.S. government?
The first thing we have to do is restore the American dream for people. It seems like the American dream is so out of reach, and we can actually close that gap and make it more of a reality by increasing the federal minimum wage. We can do some things to make sure we strengthen voter rights, advocacy, and make sure that our families are staying intact and whole. A few other things that I'm really a champion of is closing the pay disparity for women, because a lot of women these days are the head of the household, and we want to make sure they're getting paid the right amount of money for the work they've been doing. And the last thing that I would attack would be tax reform, because there are some things we can do by simplifying the tax code, but also lowering some corporate tax rates for small corporations just starting out in the first 5 years. So those are some things definitely that I know will help the American people and will help Alabama.
Looking at something specifically, you talk about education and that it can improve the economy. Give us your thoughts on that.
Correct. As we look at education, the first thing we would have to attack, then we know that the more kids that graduate high school, the more kids that can read on a certain grade level, the more kids that will graduate college will actually produce more for our economy. So we must first give the opportunity to the smallest ones among us and have universal pre-K. Also, along with universal pre-K, we must listen to the educators. These are the people that's on ground zero. We must take in consideration and have them into the decision making as well, and make sure that we're taking their advice, because they know and they see our kids every day, and we can take their advice and make education better. We must make it innovative enough to attack the jobs of tomorrow, and make sure that we allow high schools and community college to combine more and to work more together to produce people that will have the skills and ability for the jobs of tomorrow.
One of the things that I'll ask you about is your opinions of what we can do and about raising taxes.
Well, personally, I do not feel like the people of Alabama deserve any hikes on their taxes. I feel as though these are trying times, and in trying times we need everything that we can possibly get because of raising prices on foods, groceries, and our utilities. But there are over 8 million people that's currently living among us that's contributed in local sales tax, but not contributed in federal income taxes. And if we bring these people into the workforce, that'll allow the federal government to bring in more money, and in turn would possibly lower our taxes and prevent us from having to raise taxes on anyone. For the hard work that we put in our tax dollars, we deserve more, and I aim to give the state of Alabama more. I don't foresee any problem with working with anyone from either side of the aisle. I've lived my life in a way that I can speak to anyone. I can listen to anyone's problems and concerns, and I can relate to them my problems and concerns, and I'm willing to compromise. This has been a dirty word in the realm of politics. What matters is I want to do the job for the people.
Speaking of the job, do you consider it a 9-to-5 job?
I consider whenever I take a job, I engulf myself in that job. That job becomes my life. And for someone to work only 150 hours out of the year is preposterous. For someone to take so many days off, I don't consider that a job. That's a part-time job. If you represent the state of Alabama, if you represent the people, the hard-working people that work every day, the hard-working people that's in the fields, the hard-working people that works in the hospitality industry, everywhere in Alabama, these people go to work every day, 40+ hours a week, and I want to do the same. I will fight to do the same.
If you look at things happening in the state of Alabama and the things affecting our economy, what are the biggest things you think that you can do to help this economy in Alabama?
The best thing that I can do is be accessible to the people. The people have major concerns and they have great ideas, but those ideas are not reaching Washington, D.C. I will be accessible. You will not call, you will not write, you will not email me and will not get a warm body response from me. It won't be an automatic response, and I won't say I'll get back to you later. You will be answered, and that is the main problem that we have in the government today. The voice of the people is not being heard, and I aim to give you back that voice.
Talking about a voice for the people, how will the people be able to contact you when you're in Washington, D.C.?
I plan on doing a few things, Ron. The first thing that I plan on doing to make sure that the people are involved in the decision process is have and host live web chats and web events. That way everybody in the district can chime in, can send questions, and get real-time answers about bills that's being proposed before we take a vote on them. And you will be able to contact any office. I will increase the offices in the state of Alabama, in the district, for I will be more accessible, and you will also have my personal email. You will have my phone number. I will let you know, and I will be visible and there for you.
Well, thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to add to our conversation?
I would like to tell the people of Alabama that I am a product of Alabama. I've lived here, I was born here, and I would like to represent the state of Alabama in the best way that I can. I would like to give my all to the state of Alabama. I will make sure that you will see me in every forefront. I will not be quiet on the issues. If you have an issue, then I have an issue, and we all have an issue. We're in this together as a district. Together we can do some great things. We can bring things to the forefront that people have never seen before. We can do innovative things in education and alternative energy. We can bring everyone into the 21st century, but we have to do it together. and know that you're not alone and we're not apart. We're together. We just have to speak together on November the 4th.
We've been talking with Erick Wright, a candidate for the 2nd Congressional District in Alabama.